Hello, my name is Littlelegodude. Welcome to Battlefield 5. Today I'm going to be continuing the storyline, war stories. Well, I'm not going to do all of them. I'm doing them one by one, and then I'm going to do the same thing as Battlefield 1 I did with Battlefield 1, do an entire playthrough through it. And also, the next Battlefield game might be... They released a trailer for the next Battlefield game, which I am excited for. Oh, hi, Cruxbomb. Sorry if I'm not playing online today. I've decided to stream one of the war stories. The reason why I'm not doing all of them is because it would take too long. But I'm doing the same thing I did with my Battlefield 1 playthrough, is I'm gonna play all the war stories one by one first on stream, then in one single stream try and play through all of them in one stream and see how long it takes. Yeah, and
Regardez, des soldats français courageux, prêts à se sacrifier pour la patrie. Ces hommes, c'étaient des héros. Mais ils n'étaient pas des
and
Je vais vous raconter une histoire que vous ne connaissez pas.
yeah, which war story? I don't know how to pronounce the name of it. Oh wait, there's the name of it right there. It's good that they put the name of it from when you started the war story, because it helps if you've forgotten the...
Ce que je vais vous raconter n'apparaît dans aucun livre d'histoire.
Okay.
Vous me croirez peut-être.
I haven't streamed a war story in a while, actually. Ever since Battlefield 1. Well, ever since I did the last Tiger, which was one of the war stories I did. I've already done on stream, I forgot what it's called. The other one I did. Okay, I need to get to a better spot. It's one. My aim's a little bit off. There's a story called Norm, and that's happening in Norway. Oh yeah, I believe that's a stealth mission. Well, I mean, you can play it stealth, but I mean, usually I'm the type of player who just likes to go in guns blazing. Grenade. That missed. if I take that. Oh, hi, welcome to the stream. I'm just playing one of the war stories in Battlefield. Well, I'm doing them one by one, and then eventually I'm gonna do a stream where I do an entire playthrough through the entire game like I did with Battlefield 1. And don't call me crazy, I've never played the other Battlefield games except for Battlefield 1 and 5. Oh, yeah.
Mais moi, je me répétais tout le temps. Non, pas moi. Je suis d'aimer. Je suis d'aimer. Et Dieu me viendra en aide.
I'm not gonna talk very much when the characters start talking, like when the main character starts talking, because then that would kind of ruin. Well, I mean, it would allow other viewers to hear this part, because a lot of viewers actually just watch people play through the games just so they can hear the storyline parts, even though it would technically be a spoiler. But mostly because if the game's like out of their budget, maybe they'll just watch it anyway just to see how good it is. Because some players like playing not for the storyline but just for the gameplay. So it doesn't matter if it's been spoiled for some players sometimes. And there are still players that haven't played Battlefield 5 yet. Nope. Oh, this brings back memories to well, it brings back memories to, like, Battlefield 1 when I couldn't get that flamethrower. Because if you hit the thing on the fuel tank on the back, it'll kill them more easily. It's unrealistic. There was no tiger in the... I mean... Yeah, that is wrong. Well, it was mostly panzers, but there were more than one types of tiger tanks, so they might have been right. Might have. But they never, like, explained what... Well, actually, no, it was a Tiger 1 tank, which... You're right, that doesn't make sense. And no. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense for a Tiger 1 to actually be... Well, a lot of history channels say that there were Tiger tanks in the North African conflict, which was a part of World War II. But, to be honest, it wasn't possible, because at the time, the Tiger tank wasn't even... Well, I mean, the development of it was around, but not like... Plus, there was no reason for it to be over there, so... Yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense.
Je me disais d'aimer. Faut trouver quelque chose. Trouve un moyen pour que ça marche.
Okay, I need to read. One, and got him. Wait, C4, yes. Okay, and...
Détruire les canons sauvera des vies. De vraies vies. C'est concret. C'est réel.
Okay, it's down. I mean, it's not destroyed. And all of the storylines in Battlefield 5... yeah, but the developers of Battlefield 5 don't really go after it. They just... well, they base it off of what happened, but then they put some changes in it for it's not too similar. Because if it was, like, too similar, it would make no... it would just be the same thing. And... in one... yeah, what didn't make sense with me was the last tiger. Well, I mean, it makes sense, but like the air, but I mean like just the plot line of it was a little bit off, but it's still, well, I mean, it's a fun gameplay type storyline, but I mean, the problem with it was the first cutscene you see, like you said, yeah, because that literally made no sense. Unless there's a part of history no one's been reading. Which that can be possible. Yeah, did you wish the game was a little bit like well, no, because if it was completely like the exact thing it happened in history, the game wouldn't be as fun because it would just be a repeat of the same thing. And the developers, even though they don't make it realistic, they just like to add a little bit of their own stuff into it, for it's not like just realistic and, well, and also to where it's like their own type of way. But people still enjoy it even though it's not realistic. Well, and another reason is why most historical things, it should have been added into Battlefield and its storylines, are also a little bit copyrighted because of other people that have used it for their games. There's others that have used the same historical moments in their game, and yeah, sometimes a lot of other developers argue over copyright, saying if they put it in their game first, it's copyright for someone else to use it. But that makes no sense because it's literally a part of history which anyone should be able to use for their game. Now, copying the graphics, now that would be a little bit... Now that's copyright, like copying the graphics and the game mechanics. Now that's... because it's like making a game out of graphics that have already been made, but with just different weapons and gameplay mechanics, while also using some of the ones that are copyrighted. Well, the developers of Battlefield 5 only add stuff they think is like was a major part in World War II, which the Russians were. I mean, well, I mean, they're one of the reasons. It probably ended in a victory for the Allies. Oh, Enlisted. Actually, I thought about getting it for my PS5, but then I realized the price on it, and I'm like, heck no, 90 bucks? Oh. Like, it's not on PS4, but for some reason it's going for 90 bucks on PS5, which makes no sense. Oh. I don't know why it's going for such a high price range. Enlisted copyrighted Battlefield 5? What? When did this happen? And that's so awkward because, like, well, Enlisted is another version of War Thunder, but with infantry and better game graphics. But that's just so awkward for them to copyright Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 has been out longer. So how would that be copyright? And honestly, there's nothing... Well, I mean, the game mechanics are slightly different. I can see the first-person shooting spec being well, not being copyright, because usually a lot of games should be able to use that first-person shooting mechanic in their games as well. But copywriting in another game, it's been out longer just because of, like, first, maybe game mechanics that anyone should be able to use. Now, that's just outrageous. Some YouTubers called Enlisted Battlefield 5, yeah. Now, yeah, well, I mean, they're kind of similar, except for Battlefield 5's never had a cam. It shows you what part you just shot off a vehicle on. Or, I mean, a tank. That's never been a thing in... Yeah, but it's probably likely that Battlefield 5 won't actually get removed because of it. The strike will probably just get removed because it wouldn't make any sense to remove Battlefield 5 for that reason. Honestly, them trying to copyright Battlefield 5 could actually just get enlistment removed, honestly. I mean, it would be great with that price tag they keep using. No, but when I was on PS5, the price was just like $90 just to get enlistment. Like, heck no. And it's not even the full game. It's like, just like, the game by itself, 90 bucks. Like, what? No one's gonna buy that. I'm like, in my head, I don't care what the graphics are. In my opinion, enlistment, yeah, like, even though it's got high quality graphics, that price makes literally no sense. So if I really wanted a huge first-person shooter game with vehicles, I would just pick Battlefield 5, because at least they're not overkill with the prices. And plus, I already have Battlefield 5, so it would make sense. Instead of actually having to pay a 90, yeah, that's, so I just, like, refuse, because that's, like, I could get so many Steam games with that much. Like, it's not even worth it. And also, it's just a replica of War Thunder, but with infantry, so if I really wanted to, I could just get War Thunder for free on my PC, and also there's a mod for infantry for War Thunder, so there's no point in even getting enlistment, to be honest. Because there's an infantry mod for War Thunder on PC. Kind of making enlistment a little bit obsolete, to be honest. A lot of people say, like, well, I mean, it's got great gameplay, it's just, like, there's no storyline to it, it's just another replica of War Thunder. Yeah, which I will never buy, and don't, unless they lower the price tag, then I'll get it. If they lower it to maybe 20 bucks, well, or at least 40, I'll get it, but 90 or any higher than 40, that's just incredibly... But honestly, I'm not too mad at it, because honestly, eventually, when they realize that price tag no one's gonna pay for is just too high, they're eventually gonna have to lower it, unless they want their game to die. Imagine if enlistment did not finish game and you... Oh, no, and it's still in early access as well. Like, it's still in its beta form. Which means there could be a lot of bugs when it gets out of beta. Yeah, but a lot of people say it's because it's on PS5 and PS5 has higher quality. But that wouldn't make any sense, because just because of higher quality game engines, that doesn't mean the price should go up. Because if the gameplay is flawed by a bunch of bugs, it's just Fallout 76 all over again. And that's why Fallout 76 actually had to lower their prices. Because they promised it would be a good game, and when you promise something and it comes out as that huge price... Actually, I think that's the reason why 2 years ago it got plunged with a 3-star review, Fallout 76. I mean, it's a great game now. They fixed it and made it as everyone intended, but 2 years. Enlistment's probably gonna go down that same path. See, like, good game developers think by rushing a game, and they can get good results out of it. But no, you can't get good results out of rushing.
Essayez de communiquer maintenant.
Yeah, but like a lot of developers these days just keep trying to get results by rushing developing a game. Well, Enlistment's trying to go down the same path as War Thunder and Battlefield at the same time. Well, I mean the first-person shooter path, but it's rushing their gameplay, like, and they're rushing their prices, even though it's still in. So it's like, honestly, unless the price lowers, I ain't getting it. I don't care what they add. I don't care if they add. I don't care if they add like anything, like special weapons or like special tanks or like even small country factions you can play as. I don't care, honestly, unless that price lowers. I'm not touching it. I'm not even gonna look at Enlistment until that price goes away. Wait. Oh, for a minute I thought that was a glitch where the character was just floating, but it's just a parachute. Wait, come on. Yeah, so this is meant to be a stealth mission. I just don't like being stealthy. Well, this part of the war story is a stealth mission. Oh, come on, I've done this one. I've done this one off stream. Oh, you were waiting. Oh, come on, come on. Reload. I just have to be patient and they'll walk out. See, the thing is, you gotta be patient and wait for them to walk out, because if you wait, they'll eventually walk out to try and kill you. Well, not all the time. Oh, grenade. Yeah, I'm just gonna... So fun fact, if you get to this part of the mission, you can just kill a few guys and then run past it. Like, you never had to fight, like, these guys were never here in the first place. But you have to be quick about it, because you'll die if you... See, I've done this one off stream. Well, I've done some of them off stream. Battlefield 5. Well, I mean, Enlistment technically would be better, but its price is just, like, so messed up that I don't even want to say it's better. I mean, it's better if you're, like, the person, like, has nothing to do and has a lot of, like, cash that it's not gonna hurt if you get it, but, I mean... Honestly, it's just kind of annoying because it's like they expect the player base to have $90 in their game accounts, or in general. Like, I feel like the developers of that game just have a bad concept of pricing. Honestly, I've seen way better pricing. Even Fallout's better. Fallout 4 was better priced when it first came out. But a lot of these developers also are just in for the money. They don't care if the game's good or not. They just, some of them just care that it's, that the people think it's good, for they buy it more. I mean, Battlefield 5 does the same thing, except for they don't actually do it just for the money. They do it for both reasons. But also they focus more on the fan base, because they care about their fans more than their money. Actually, before the maps, the Japanese maps or the Pacific War maps came out, when a lot of people were annoyed that there wasn't a Pacific War map or game mode yet, or anything related to it, that a lot of people started complaining, and when, well, not complaining, just feeling like the maps they were given in the game modes were just like a little bit less than what they paid for. But then when the developers realized that, they added it, because honestly, most developers don't add stuff unless it's stuff the player would have to play for, but Battlefield's developers are not like that. Well, I mean, they are, unless if it's like a real special DLC, then they'll do it, like with Battlefield 1 and its Doomsday DLC, which I don't have because I'm not a big fan of getting DLCs. Well, I used to be back when I played Just Cause. But my mind has gotten smarter since then. Well, I mean, But here's the thing. Like, if it's a DLC, it's not gonna hurt your the amount of money you have, then it's fine. If it's like a DLC, it's like $30, just don't even look at it. Well, this is just my opinion of... So, when I got Besiege, which was a PC game, I usually take a deep thought before I do something and analyze the gameplay footage other players have had. Wait, the price had went up to 99? Oh, heck no. I am so never buying Enlistment. Trust me, I don't... 99? That's almost 100. And, the developers of that game are just losing. And also, if I'm correct, that's actually 100 because because of the tax. Yikes. Oh wait. That price would just make me sick, and not the cool sick. I mean the sick as I don't even want to think about it. But also, a lot of people complain about games that are actually good, because some people will get a game, think, oh, this is a game where I can experience my own dreams, but they didn't analyze it before they thought that, well, before they got the game. And when you don't analyze a gameplay for a certain game before you get it, you'll be disappointed with the results of when you first play it. Like Besiege, I analyzed the gameplay before I started streaming it to see if it was like... But I also did analyze it before I bought it in the first place, because then I could tell if it was suitable. I knew when I first got Besiege, I was gonna have to learn how to build machines, but it takes practice as well to learn how a game's mechanics work as well. A lot of people think, oh, video games are just fun and easy and meant to be easy for the player. No, they're meant to be hard. Even making a good machine in sandbox mode is meant to be hard for the player, because they do that to challenge the player's mind. If it was just easy to do anything in games, no one would want to play them. Like, there would be no reason to even stream them. See, that's why having hard difficulties, even games that have the option for easy mode are still hard for some players. But that's because that player thinks he can just be lazy and actually have the game be super easy by selecting easy mode. This is also the same story for Wolfenstein, which YouTube doesn't like people who stream it because it's, well, mostly because it's offensive. But, I mean, like, that game is meant to be hard. The developers of it made it to where it's the hardest game in the world. Well, I mean, some people have beat it, but a lot of people complain that it's too hard, but it's meant to be hard. The developers even explain this. Because if it was easy... Well, the reason why it's so hard, even on easy mode, is because they wanted to set a record for the hardest game with the lowest difficulty. I mean, I almost beat it on stream until YouTube, yeah, until I found out it, well, it's just, some games have offensive stuff in it, like offensive, if the game made free, yeah, honestly, if the reviews aren't good, if it does lower to $40 and I see like players are getting mad that the game is too buggy, no, I'm not even gonna touch it if it lowers. Because if it's a game that's gonna cause me to get infuriated about the gameplay because there's bugs, if it lowers, then definitely, no, I'm not gonna get it. But honestly, and also, like, if they don't manage to, like, well, they're going down the same path. Actually, to be honest, the reason why no one's brought up Fallout 6 is, or I mean, well, technically Fallout 76 was Fallout 6, was because, well, no one's been bringing up the next Fallout game or talking about it because they know it's not going to happen. Bethesda already made their mistake. Like, that, well, and mostly it's because Xbox bought out Bethesda, which is the developers of Fallout. That's another reason. Now that it's only an Xbox game, Fallout, well, it was an Xbox game, but it was also a PlayStation, so no new Fallout games for PlayStation. Here's the problem. Xbox doesn't have a high enough game engine to run Fallout, so the new Fallout games are just gonna have this, and this is the same for Fallout 4. So as long as Bethesda is still, like, on making games for Xbox, it's just, their games are just not going to be good, because, like, Xbox is a terrible streaming platform. It's never handled well with frames when it comes to games like Fallout. How we can make it. Yeah, it's like, honestly, if you're a person that knows how to make your own games, edit and make games personally for yourself, honestly, I would recommend just making a copy, like making your own game instead of actually paying for a game you thought, like, everyone says is good. But the price just doesn't make sense. Like, honestly, enlistment, I feel like enlistment shouldn't even exist. Like, the game, like, it should exist, but with that price, I say it shouldn't exist with the price tag that it imposes on the player base. Like, $99, like, plus tax, like, seriously, I am never gonna get enlistment. Like, honestly, that price doesn't make sense. I mean, there are some games that actually went for that price, but also, like, take Fallout New Vegas, for instance, on PS4. That has a good reason to be $100, because that game, well, because it's so rare, they only posted the entire game with all the DLCs on PS4, so if you want it, you have to pay the $100 price. Now, that would be worth it, because actually, that's got a good game base that's not going to make the viewers mad. Now, Enlistment is still in beta. Honestly, even when it's out of beta, if it wasn't $90, if they did raise it to that price after it came out of beta, it still wouldn't make sense, because, like, $90 for, like, a game, it's just a little bit of a mix between Battlefield 5 and War Thunder. Like, if I really wanted to, I could just go play War Thunder on the PC and get an infantry mod, which is the reason the developers of Enlistment also made a mix of both, was for that there would be a War Thunder game simulating infantry, because, well, War Thunder kind of kept teasing it in their game. Yeah, I just say, if you ever think about Enlistment and it's still, and that price is still the same, just don't do it. I swear, you could get so many better things with $90.
Prends ce lance-fusée. Tire avec pour nous dire d'attaquer.
Honestly, if I had a choice between having to play Fortnite for stream Fortnite for 3 months or buy enlistment, I would pick play Fortnite for 3 months on stream and no other games, because honestly enlistment isn't even worth it.
C'est la guerre. Une grosse machine.
In Foxhole you did fine. Oh yeah, well I mean in Foxhole that game's in beta too, but that's because that game's always going to be in beta because the developers just love adding stuff to that game. That's why they still do.
C'est parti. Fuyez à discrétion. J'espère que se sortira.
And honestly, Foxhole is like, the developers are also working on trying to fix, like, the grass textures that glitch out sometime and the characters that glitch sometimes that you can't shoot at because they're actually just not even there. Which I ran into on stream the last time I streamed Foxhole, actually. Like, honestly, that's because the developers, because of how huge the game's mechanics are, that's why there's so many bugs in Foxhole. But the developers actually don't betray their viewers. They actually have a system to where they actually try to fix it instead of just leave it be and let people get the game thinking that there's gonna be no bug problems that would affect their gameplay. Honestly, those bugs don't really harm the gameplay as much because it brings out funny moments, but I mean, when you have a game, it has a developer, it won't actually fix any of the bugs in the game, and not just because it might be an old game. If it's a new, like a freshly new game, if a developer doesn't focus on like removing bugs that harm the gameplay, honestly, he's just there for the money. Because if a month goes by and he says he's planning on fixing it and he's not fixing it a month later, that's when you know the developer has just given up and he's taken his money, ran off with his money. Same with how some YouTubers run off with their money. I would never run off with a paycheck if I had 1 million views on YouTube, because honestly I value my viewers more than my money. Well, I value the money for me to live as a person, but not like huge piles of it, like most people do. Forget about, oh yeah, cheaters. Like, some developers don't even focus on cheaters. They're like, nah, he'll be fine, he can't cause that much harm. Literally 4 players uninstall the game. Literally a week later, 100 players have uninstalled your game because... And also, not to mention, another problem is scammers that scam people's accounts. Now, that's something some developers don't focus on, which actually, the same thing happened with Fallout 76 2 years ago, well, 1 year ago, was there was scammers scamming people's, well, because Bethesda had a system to where sometimes if a player found another player's user and what he named his character, there was a way for you to play as that person's character without having to have access to their account. Now, Bethesda fixed that, but see, that's the thing. Also, when making an online game, you have to worry about all the things that can go wrong with like people's accounts getting stolen, because that's why most games don't actually make password systems that allow people to type a password and then have your high-ranked account. Not sure, but this is all reasons some games... Yes. Well, some games end up... It seems like some games fail, and then sometimes the developer will come back. Or if, like, someone buys out the game. So this is a thing it also has a chance to happen. It doesn't happen as often, but sometimes someone will buy out a game that's not very liked and has a lot of problems, and then use their own editing skills and their own resources to make it better. Now, this doesn't happen as much as it used to, mostly because a lot of game companies don't have a lot ever since coronavirus, even though that wouldn't make sense. Because, well, actually, no, coronavirus actually was helpful for most of them, because coronavirus makes it to where you don't have to go do your daily job just to keep running because of because the government, well, not all governments, but we're handing out money to help people that couldn't afford food. And see, that was another problem for developers. They have to worry about their own resources that help them live in general. I swear, I just want to go I swear, after this stream, I'm just gonna name this Littlelegodudeplays Battlefield 5 Why talking about game problems, and I'm just gonna call this a commentary video, because that's basically what this is turning into. I think earlier I died once because I was too focused on commentary. Actually, this is probably the most I've narrated in one video. I mean, one stream. I don't know why, but ever since I started YouTube, I couldn't stop calling my streams videos, and still to this day, I still accidentally do it. Yeah, but another problem is also hackers that hack into people's account. When you don't... Now, GTA actually had this problem, but they had a good system to deal with this, and it's called IP banning, which means if someone hacks, or if modders abuse their abilities, they get IP banned, which means you lose your account to your router, and you have to make a fresh new one, losing everything you have. So if you have a good like if someone had a good internet and they were hacking and GTA caught them, like Rockstar Games caught them cheating or hacking, IP ban would literally just ruin their internet, because they would have to set up a new one. And also, you lose all your accounts to like consoles, Xboxes, if you hack. And this is the reason why they did this to modders was that modders kept abusing their powers. Like, they would abuse players. Sometimes they would come into a friendly, peaceful lobby and then abuse their powers. Oh, all this talking's got me out of breath. But, like, honestly, this is actually, if you go back to GTA 3, you'll notice there's a lot of modders just spamming people with money drops. Well, there probably is no modders left on PS3, because they've probably, before this whole thing happened to modders, moved to PS4. But they don't do this to the PS3 modders, mostly because PS3 GTA is kind of like old, and honestly, well, back then, the GTA 3 version had no way to make a system like that. It prevented modders from abusing their powers. But the modders on GTA 3 are actually were really peaceful because honestly, and the reason why a lot of people moved to the PS5 version of GTA was one reason, the Doomsday DLC, which wasn't coming to... Well, if you got the update quick enough for PS3, you could actually play the Doomsday and not have to get the GTA 5 version on PS4. But a lot of people didn't know this at the time, and when they missed out, yeah, rip the money. But listen, money they had to pay to get to it. But listen, I was one of them, but back then I didn't care much because I didn't know what the Doomsday DLC was. And actually, back when I played on PS3, someone actually did a money drop on me. Actually, that was how I got to use my first tank, which was the Rhino tank, because it was the only tank. But also, GTA 3 players that missed out on the update could still see the vehicles being used by other players. It's just they couldn't use them. Well, they could use them, but they would have to have a friend that had gotten the update quick enough. And honestly, a lot of players complained about this, but the reason why the developers didn't care, because the modders were being too abused. Some modders were being too abusive with their mods that they wouldn't stop abusing S3, and because back then there wasn't any way to IP ban players, well, mostly a lot of players got mad because and honestly, Rockstar couldn't, the developers at Rockstar couldn't handle it because, well, they were also being pressured, but why being pressured a lot? But also, because if they remove a modder, because most modders, well, back then they didn't have a ban system for GTA 5, which was its main problem, because GTA 5 was the first time they had a wide-scale online game. I mean, they had it online in the old versions of GTA, but it wasn't as successful as GTA 5 was. Yeah, money grabs actually happen so often that in GTA 3 that it makes so, and also when money drops came to like when modders started using mods in GTA 5, well, some players got lucky enough before modders started getting IP banned, but if you got money dropped in while playing the PS4 version, when this IP ban stuff started happening for modders, I am sorry, because if Rockstar notices that you actually did get a money drop on the PS4 version, they were banning anyone who got money drop. And this is the sad thing, because most modders actually did the money drops just to get those people IP banned, which is sad because a lot of people worked hard for those to get to where they were. And also, some people tried to avoid them because they knew this, but modders abuse this. Other modders actually tried to stop them from abusing this. But by the time the modders that usually don't abuse their powers figured this out, it was already too late. Oh no. No, come on, come on. I need to regen health. Yeah, but I mean, also this is like the same reason with another game I played. Well, back in Call of Duty didn't always have a good ban. It didn't have a ban system for most players, and some people would also abuse like hacks in Call of Duty back when there wasn't any ban systems. But that was back when Call of Duty wasn't as popular, but when it started getting popular, that's when the hackers really started abusing it. And still, like, to this day, hackers still try to abuse, say, in Warzone. But in Warzone, like, it's so easy nowadays for the developers to know when someone's hacking. Because when you see someone get, like, 30 kills in one game in under, like, or under a few, like, 10 minutes, like, maybe, if you see someone get a kill, like, 30 kills in under 20 minutes, that's when you know it's hacking. Because, like, there's no way you just get 20 kills in under, well, see, but if it's, like, a player that's like, not like, it mostly it's the streamers that usually get the most kills, but a lot of will actually start a stream. Oh, and also this is another thing, people who abuse other people's clips. They'll like put a clip on the in their stream to make it look like they're playing. But listen, this was easily flawed by ads. Actually, consider YouTube ads a savior, because if there wasn't ads, honestly, people abusing these clips would actually get away with this and get a huge fan base unfairly out of it. Now, a lot of people say it's totally fair to use other people's clips. It's not. It's the same thing with copyright. Like, if I said, if you asked me if you could use one of my streams as like a thing for yours, and I said no, you did it anyway, that would be copyright. But I wouldn't anyway, because honestly, using fake clips just to get a huge fan base, honestly, if you have a friend that has a channel and you have a channel, like, maybe just ask him if you can do him a shout out, and then later give him a shout out to repay him for giving you a shout out. But also, that's another no or yes situation, because most viewers don't like, well, most viewers ignore shout outs sometimes, but not too often. But a lot of people abuse the comment section and say, "Can I have a shout out?" And if like the person they're asking a shout out for says no, sometimes they'll go like, "Oh, but I really need a shout out," and then they won't stop until like. And then if you do give them a shout out, you'll realize they're just gonna come back later. Because even though you gave that person a shout out, like, that person is going to just, like, probably not going to upload anything, and probably just go to another channel to do the same thing. Now, that was a thing a lot of people fell for, and that's how some channel, like, if you see a channel that has 10,000 subscribers but no videos, that's when you know it's either someone using sub bots or has just been asking for a bunch of shoutouts. But no, YouTubers and smaller channels are a little bit smart not to fall for this anymore. It was mostly the small channels falling for this, because if you've been on YouTube for a long time like me, you should know that a lot of the big YouTubers don't like to give shoutouts unless there's a good reason to. But a lot of big YouTubers do. But a lot of people also give each other shoutouts just to help start a community, to help new channels get started. But if someone starts using the shoutouts to get extremely, like, tries to abuse the shoutouts by saying, "Oh, can I have a shoutout? Oh, I need another shoutout," but doesn't upload anything after he's asked twice, that's when he knows. That's when you know he's using the community you're trying to start just to make subs, but without having to do any work. See, now that's another thing. Also, actually, that actually is one of the reasons why one of my YouTube shoutouts got copyrighted, because too many people were abusing that as well, and a lot of complaint happened on YouTube about it. And that's the reason one of my streams got copyrighted when it shouldn't have. And actually, a hacker is basically a lazy person. It doesn't want to do the work of getting good at a game. Like, honestly, take me for instance. Every time I get a new game, I'll practice it. Because if you don't practice and you just cheat, like, no one's gonna like you. And if it has a ban system, then that basically it doesn't matter. You're just gonna lose all your progress that you worked for unfairly. Honestly, and there's no sense in doing it, because you're just missing out on the hard work, which the hard work is the fun part about it. Yeah, I think I'm done talking about that for now, but I hope all that talking I did about that stuff gives you a sense on what actually, a sense on why most of this happens, and why most games fall, and most well, actually, most communities fall just based on if, like, there's a problem in it because of one person. Can you name the video? Oh, it was a shout-out video. I think I forgot the name of the viewer I did the shout-out for. But YouTube, yeah, it's not even YouTube's fault. It's the fact that people are abusing shout-outs. And, like, and it's also because some people are abusing, like, content also being strict. So YouTube has... So, and also because people have been using shoutouts, well, excuse shoutouts to make it look like it's a shoutout, just for they can play copyrighted music in the video to make it look like it's not copyright and it's not a music video, it's copyrighted, just for they can get away with music. But if you hear music and no talking in a shoutout video, or no, like, words on the screen, that's when you know it's someone just trying to use music unfairly. It's copyrighted. Now, if you, like, use copyrighted music for, like, a background of something, and you asked the person who owns it first, or you titled the person that owns the music and titled a link to that person, then it's fine. And also, make sure you type "not owned by me," because, like, honestly, but still, most of the time you should ask. A lot of people don't ask because they think, oh, this dude's too popular, he's never gonna let me use this song in my short. But that's not the case, because a lot of people actually do ask. But if he says no, it's no. Honestly. Is it bad to ask someone to name a video? No, honestly, no. Honestly, if you ask me the name of an inappropriate video from another channel, then that's a little bit... Yeah, no, that's completely bad. But honestly, not... And also, the same goes for any other platforms, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. Just any platform, it's like meant for like content creators. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now because the cutscene is rolling. Oh, we missed out on all the words. The summer of sold troops from around deployed on French soil. The Free French Army, France colonized and many came to fight for a country they had never seen. Estimated 200 died fighting for a country. Okay, I didn't get. In 2010, oh wait, 2010, France granted full military and 20s. Yeah, so if you enjoyed the stream, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. You don't have to, but if you still enjoy my content, at least make sure to hit the notification bell to be notified every time I stream or record. Our goal is 300. Thank you to all of you who have been subscribed. Thank you to all of you who have watched. I know a lot of you don't have the time to watch my channel, but I'm grateful for the time you do actually spend watching my channels. Like, even if it's just like 2 minutes, I'm fine with that, honestly, or even none, because like I understand a lot of you don't have the time to watch my channel. Because it's the same thing with my time schedule with these streams. I don't always have time to stream, so I actually fully understand this. And Littlelegodude out. Oh, just give me a minute. It's. Hold a minute. Oh, that's weird. It won't let me in stream. It actually won't. This might be a problem. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the stream. But if you didn't, but you